Hello and welcome to another edition of the Biblewheel program. And today we're going to be beginning the study on the 9th century, and beginning with the Emperor Nicephorus, the first Logothetes. And this is a drawing of him, and so looking into his resume, Nicephorus first reflects the character of King Saul in the 9th book, who died in a humiliating death in a war against the Philistines. They took his head and placed it in their temple of Dagon. This was referring to King Saul. And in Nicephorus' case, his head was used as a cup for wine by the Bulgar king Krum. Nicephorus the first also reigned for 9 years. So not only is it in the 9th century and relates to the 9th book of the Bible, 1 Samuel. Saul was anointed in the 9th chapter, introduced and anointed in the 9th chapter, but he also died in the 31st chapter, the last chapter, that is also the 9th spoke the second cycle in the inner wheel of 1 Samuel, the 9th book. Therefore, Nicephorus died in a humiliating battle, just like King Saul. And but contrary to his case, where Jonathan died, his son died in the battle as well. On the other hand, he had another son, Ishbosheth, which survived. I guess he survived, or probably he wasn't in the battle himself. But Staurakios was Nicephorus' son, and he was wounded in the battle. However, they selected him to rule for the next few years. Now let me read to you 1 Samuel 31 verses 9 and 10. While Saul was dead, lying dead in the battle, the Philistines came, and verse 9, and they cut off his head and stripped off his armor and sent into the land of the Philistines round about to publish it in the house of their idols and among the people. And they put his armor in the house of Ashtaroth, and they fastened his body to the wall of Bethshan. Now, a similar thing had happened. It was actually a repetition of this story, but from a different point of view. It was mentioned in the 13th book, 1 Chronicles as well. And strangely though, in the 13th century, there was a similar incident, that a conflict that the Bulgarian king Kaloyan had with the Latin Empire of Constantinople. I believe it was Constantinople, with Boniface. There was another king before that, where allegedly he was accused, the Kaloyan was accused of beheading and using his head as a skull, his skull as a drinking cup. However, there was a future king which he actually did. In the first case, he was defending his view that it wasn't him. He didn't do that because the Pope was accusing him for doing that. But in the case of the second king, he actually did it. As for concerning his son, it does say that the son of Nicephorus, Staurakios, didn't die with him in battle, but was heavily injured, unlike Jonathan, who died with his father Saul in the battle of the Philistines. Staurakios instead was chosen to be king. The meaning of the name Staurakios is: the first element of this name is derived from the Greek noun stauros or stavros, which originally meant upright, pale, upright stake, but nowadays has the meaning of cross. Also see stavros. The second element is derived from the Greek noun akis, meaning pointed object, such as an arrow, barb, or dart. Staurakios was the name of a Byzantine emperor from the 9th century AD. Likewise, after the battle of against the Philistines, where Saul and Jonathan had died, Ishbosheth was still alive, and even though David was given the crown, the house of Saul was quite strong, and even though David's intention wasn't to have war with them, but his generals under him started provoking wars, assassinating his Saul's men and so on, and eventually Ishbosheth was murdered by some men, and they expected to be honored, but David condemned them afterwards.